What's up? What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of Jamming with J Money, man. We here back. Hey, it's Tuesday, ready to get to some more cash, man. How you guys feeling? How was you guys' day yesterday, Junior?
My day was all right. Got hit up a little bit late. I should have hit that under in the Boston game. Just a lot of points getting scored at the end of that. Anyways, I don't even want to get into that. I went 1-1 yesterday. I hit the under in the Lakers Clippers. I'm sorry, in the Raptors Clippers. That was a really low scoring game, which is what I expected. Just looking to get back on track. It's enough of these, win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Let's just try to get some plus units here and get into these games. How about you guys?
Jordan,
I had a
how was
pretty good
you?
night last night. I hit that under my play for the Houston New Orleans game for the full game, and had the other play for the show. I tailed you guys on the trifecta unders on Toronto and LAC. The Clippers, I got that one. Grizzlies first half ATS cash for me a little bit. One thing that I saw when Brandon Ingram got out, I had already put a bet on the Pelicans first quarter, so that kind of screwed me. So I tried to counteract that by putting an over up on Drew Holiday and hit the broadside of the barn last night. So that was really the only downside, but came away profitable. That's the goal of the game, I guess. So what about you, Jay?
Yeah, yesterday was pretty good, man. We saw the Pistons; they end up going down versus the Timberwolves. We know that Timberwolves still didn't have a point guard in that game. The Pistons were taking money. You know what I'm saying? Blake Griffin came back. D Rose ended up playing, and they pretty much got smashed in that game early. Came back and made it respectable in the second half, but that doesn't tell the way that game went. They were getting smashed in that game. The Mavericks were in that game the whole way. I mean, they ended up cashing that first half. The Mavs have been playing very well in the first half. They came back in the second quarter and made a run versus Celtics and tied it up. The Celtics looked like they were trying to pull away there in the first half. It could have been potentially been a blowout, but obviously in the second half they ended up, getting it done, winning by 10. The Mavs were still in that game though, like I say, late. Luka really couldn't be stopped in that game, but the Celtics team as a whole, they were just doing better than the Mavs, and they totally shut down Kristaps Porzingis. I think held him to 4 or 6 points, so he was a non-factor in that game. That was the main reason why the Mavs really couldn't do anything. And DeLon Wright really kept them in that game as well early. The Grizzlies take care of business versus Spurs over there, even on Tony Parker retirement night, man. If you had the Grizzlies on a money line, that was a damn good play, man. Damn good play. To be honest with you, I didn't think that they would be upset the Spurs. But I mean, like I say, 10, 11 point underdogs. Even if you had Memphis plus 11, I mean, the first half they've been cashing the hell out of those first halves. I think they only lost one this year, so that was a damn good look by you, Jordan. And that Rockets game, yeah, I tweeted it out, man. When Ingram went out, I was like, oh shit, boy, I feel sorry. Whoever got them Pelicans, man, it's tough without Ingram. I mean, that's their best scorer to me. And I was telling them, hey, 246 is the total. That's too damn high. I was telling you guys on Twitter, hey, you might want to look towards that under. It had dropped to like 243, but it didn't matter, man. Even in play, you know what I'm saying? The first quarter, you probably could have got still the in play somewhere around 240. So I mean, if you got in played that game or got on the under in some way, they start scoring some points, and you see why that total was that high. But and it shows that if Ingram was in there, that total probably would have went over, but it ended up stays under. It's pretty crazy how that game ended. You see that the two late free throws, you know what I'm saying, by late basket there by the Pelicans to Drew Holiday, that late basket by him sent that game to be 6, you know what I'm saying, instead of 8. And we see a lot of teams just dribble it out. No, he went for the score now, and I don't know, man. Shit be looking fishy around here. I wasn't on it, but damn, if you had Rockets -7, man, and you saw that, I'd be absolutely pissed. That was bullshit right there. The Clippers, I told you guys, man, damn, that felt nice there. A 35-point win on the under. I mean, shit. I mean, come on, man. We told you guys the first half and the full game under Raptors versus Clippers. I mean, my system's 5-1 so far this year. I'm going back to it today. Doesn't look necessarily good, but yesterday, man, damn, we should have maxed that shit out. I was on it, ended up cashing on it pretty nice, but damn, man, that was an easy cash there, guys. I'm glad you rolled with us on that one, Jordan. And the Jazz end up blowing out the Warriors as expected over there. That one flew over total. I want to say what's up to some people in the chat. We got Antoine Hill, Brian Watson. What's up, Nate Dog 420? We got Michael S, Tomarino Tomar. We got Von Polo. What's up, A1 Sports Betting? We got Black Prince of the South, James, Manny Sanchez. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in. What's up, Josh Rogan? Say what's good. What's up, man? Javon Moore. He say no Al Horford or Simmons. We still got to see if Simmons in there, man. Samuel Martin say fade Pistons second quarter every game. Kyle Ransom in here. We got some nice guys, and appreciate you guys for in the chat, man. Y'all hit the like button if y'all don't mind, man. We're gonna go ahead and get into some games today. I do want to touch on that real quick though, because this Cavs and 76ers spot, they are getting a little bit. I mean, they kind of pricing the Cavs like last year's Cavs, and I mean the 76ers hadn't looked as good this year either. Any quick thoughts on this game, Jordan? I mean, are you guys thinking that it's too many points here, or are you thinking that Philly coming later Woodshire? We know that Al Horford's not in. I need to see if Simmons gonna play. I hadn't seen anything right now. He's questionable. It's not, you know what I'm saying, for a fact that he's out or in yet. I need to see if Simmons is gonna be in there. Any thoughts on this game? Taking the points with the Cavs, Jordan?
I'm definitely leaning towards that way. I don't know if I'm ready to pull the trigger on it just yet, because I kind of want to wait to see what Simmons' status is. He was upgraded from doubtful to questionable, so that's at least trending in the right direction. I will say this, like a touch on a point, just real quick, and we can move on from this game unless Junior's got any plays on it. But yeah, these are not last year's Cavs. John Beilein actually has this team playing some defense, and I don't think that's going to bode well for Philly, who's not been playing that great in their last 4 games. They did get the win in their last one, but this is a team that has some firepower on both sides of the ball. Have some stats. Tristan Thompson's been playing his ass off pretty much this year, which is surprising. I think he's going to give Embiid some trouble because he's that wiry, kind of quick jumping big man who's a little bit smaller, short. He's only about 6'9", 6'10", but he can still body you and get some rebounds and stuff like that. So, and if Simmons misses, it's going to be very interested in taking the points with Cavs, I think, in this one. I think I'm going to lay off until I see what his status is, though. I think that's where I'm at with this game.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I don't like this number. Minus 10.5 is a lot. Al Horford's not supposed to play. And if you just look at the way that Philly goes about their business, Al Horford is legit their second best playmaker. He's second in the team in assist percentage. He's number 1 in assist to turnover ratio. And I just think that without Ben Simmons, now you got your second best playmaker out. 10.5 seems like a lot of points for a team that doesn't really play very good half-court offense. And the one guy that pushes the pace is Ben Simmons. On top of that, if you look at Joel Embiid since he came back, he played a lot of minutes in that Utah game, which I was really surprised at, a game at altitude after he'd been out with that 2-game suspension. He didn't really play too well. And since that game, he hasn't played 30 minutes in the next 2 games. Now, I don't know if there's something wrong, but if just look at his performance against Utah, for example, he was super aggressive. He went to the line, I think, 18 times. He's a guy who averages double digits in free throw attempts for his career, if I'm not mistaken. He at least averaged 10 a game last year. He hasn't even gotten to 10 in the last 2 games, and he seems like I don't know if there's something wrong with him, but he's definitely not 100% right. So you got an Embiid who may or may not be 100%. You got no Al Horford, no Ben Simmons. 10.5 seems like a lot against a Cavs team that, like you guys mentioned, Jim Beilein is, from his days at Michigan, he's a defensive coach. And the Cavs have been pretty frisky on defense, and they managed to defend without fouling a lot. They allowed they have one of the lowest free throw rates defensively in the league. So if the Sixers can't really get to the line, I think they're going to have a hard time scoring points. I actually kind of lead towards the under 216. Seems like a lot of points to me.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of points. One thing does scare me, though, when the 76ers were playing around with the Hornets there, that shows me, I mean, I can't lay points with them. If there was any spot, I know it's the first game coming off a road trip, but, I mean, this Hornets team especially, they're even worse on the road. The fact that they let them hang around that game, I mean, I think that the Cavs could. I mean, the thing is, the Cavs are off 2 straight wins. You know what I'm saying? And they weren't against good teams, or whatever. But they have been blowout wins. They've came to play. We'll see if the confidence carries over here. I don't like that it's the last game of this little 3-game road trip. But like you say, I mean, the 76ers defense really hadn't already been there. No Horford. If Simmons doesn't play here, you know what I'm saying, definitely have to be a look towards the Cavs here. I just think they're getting a little too many points. I'm not saying they're gonna win a game, but damn, I could definitely see them losing this game by 7-8. You saw what the Hornets did. it can stay in it, and they play way less defense than the Cavs do. I might have to hop on the Cavs there, man. It's just lean right now, though. It seems like we all kind of sort of leaning towards the Cavs. Well, staying away from it. I'll tweet it out if you guys if I end up getting on that. I want to get into this Detroit and Heat game real quick. We know the Heat coming off a real bad loss. You know what I'm saying? Only score 75 points versus the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? In a game where we know that the Lakers are top notch. You know what I'm saying? Top notch defense. That was the last little game of a road trip there. I'm leaning towards you got the Pistons here. You know what I'm saying? Off of back to back. They offer 2 straight losses, but they offer a back to back with travel. You know what I'm saying? Going down there to Miami, traveling all the way from the north to the south, man, to the dirty south. You know what I'm saying? Southeast. So I'm looking towards the Heat here, man. I like the Heat in this spot. It is kind of sort of a lot of points, but we need somebody to stop drumming out there. The Heat don't really have a whole lot of people that can't stop them. You look at it, they got some injuries too, man. There's things why I am hesitant to land these points here. You got Olynyk that's questionable, Tyler Hero questionable, Akpala he's out, Justin Winslow's out, and Derrick Jones Jr. Out as well. And you still got Waiters high off the edibles. You know what I'm saying? He's suspended for 10 games. They're getting kind of thin here. So I think that both teams, you know what I'm saying, are pretty thin here. It's a tricky cap, especially seeing all those Heat injuries, but I just like the Heat in this spot at the house. This is the first game coming off their road trip. They've been off 3 straight days. I may be looking towards the under here, but I'm liking the Heat here. Any looks on this game, Junior?
Yeah, this is my play of the day. I tweeted out this morning. One of the beat writers for the Pistons was on the plane. He tweeted out at 2 something a.m. that they still hadn't left the airport. Then his next tweet was at 5 a.m. that they just landed in Miami. Third tweet at 6:05, they were just checking into the hotel. So they just got to Miami this morning. No sleep, off a back-to-back. Blake Griffin playing his first game of the season. Are you really going to play Blake Griffin in a back-to-back to start off his year? Probably not. Derrick Rose, he might play limited minutes. All of those things have me leaning towards the Heat, on top of the fact that the Heat haven't played since like Friday or Saturday, I believe. I just like the Heat in this spot. I don't like Detroit coming off a back-to-back off no rest.
Damn good info there. Damn good info. Any looks on this game, Jordan?
I think this is a stay away spot for me, but Junior with some great information there. I did not realize that they just got into Miami this morning, so that's definitely something to take a look at. If you're a spot better, this is kind of a spot where you fade the team that hadn't had no sleep and is going to have no coming off the back to back with no sleep. So, but I'm hesitant with just the Heat injuries, like you guys talked about, with Hero questionable. We don't know if Olynyk's going to play. That might hurt them, their bench depth. Justice Winslow's the big one. He's already been ruled out, and he's kind of the engine that makes this team go on both ends of the court. He's that glue guy, that energy guy that kind of ties everything together. Without him, I just really can't trust the Heat. And but it is tempting. Definitely, might have to look into a first quarter or first half play on this one with Pistons coming out. Really, I'm just back-to-back tired. But I think I'll probably stay away from full game. 7.5 seems to be a pretty sharp number.
Yeah, it does seem pretty sharp. And like I say, one thing, so if the Heat were full go, I would be done already hopped on this shit. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that it's a back-to-back even for the Pistons, period. I'm still not a fan of their offense. And like Junior said, damn good points. That is one thing that I definitely looked at. Okay, bam, they got Rose and Griffin back yesterday. Those guys been out for, especially Griffin. That was his season debut. There's no way in hell you finna run him back-to-back like that, especially, you know what I'm saying? He's already injury-prone. D. Rose as well. He's up there in age. He you know what I'm saying? Set out the past 3-4 games. And then you go and play 20, 25 minutes last night. You can't just ramp them back up again on the road with travel. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty tough to do that. You can't be asking them to get another injury. The Heat, their offense has been, you know what I'm saying, been run up and down the court. We know that the Pistons can play somewhat some good defense. I want to lean towards the under here. I think especially if the Pistons do, you know what I'm saying, they do come in sleepy. I mean, obviously it won't be, their defense won't be there, but their offense won't be as well. They'll be missing shots. It could be a spot where, you know what I'm saying, they might only muster up 85, 90 points. We know their offense isn't a great offense as already, man. The Heat is a damn good atmosphere down there. I'll be looking towards the Heat and the under in this spot for sure, man. Those are my looks on this game. I hadn't got there yet with the Heat. I still need to see if Olynyk's going to play, man. He's one of their main bigs off the bench. You know what I'm saying? They still going to need some bigs in this game. Bam Adebayo is going to need some help. So we'll see how that one goes. We got this New York Knicks and Chicago Bulls spot here, man. I'm watching the Fizdale interview and shit. He didn't even know that they putting stuff out on Twitter and stuff about him laying the groundwork for him getting fired. They told him, he like, what's that? Nah, we cool. We talk every day. You know what I'm saying? You kind of hearing this voice. Why they had practice yesterday. This will be interesting, real interesting to see. And the Knicks get Dennis Smith Jr. back here tonight. Very underrated player. You know what I'm saying? He's coming back, little death in the family or whatever was going on with him. This is his first game back. He is playing. They're gonna need him off the bench in this spot. You know what I'm saying? A point guard off the bench. He might even start the second half the way them boys been looking at point guard. It'll tell me a lot about the Knicks tonight, and this is a revenge game as well, man. The Bulls went over there to the Knicks. It was winning 3 quarters, and then the Knicks outscored them 33-18 in that fourth quarter to get the win. So this is a revenge spot for the Bulls as well. No Otto Porter in this game. They're 1-3 at the house. Obviously the Knicks are 1-5 in a row. Went over there and got down the street from me, got the win in Dallas. Man, hey, I'm gonna tell you guys, we'll see if this team has quit. If they've quit on the Bulls here, if they've quit on David Fizdale, the Knicks have, then they'll get blown out. If they come to play for their coach, this is a winnable game for the Knicks. I'm telling y'all, if they come to play tonight, man, the Knicks gonna cash on the money line. Right now, I'm telling y'all, man, I'm looking towards the Knicks plus this 6.5. That's the only way I'm playing this game. Even though it's a revenge game for the Bulls, I'm just not a big fan of not big fan of them right now on their bench. Other than Kobe White, they're not really doing anything. The Knicks, like I said, if Knicks come to play here defensively, like they have shown in spurts, they can win this game, man. Any looks on this game, Jordan?
Yeah, this is one of my main plays of the game. I got a couple plays on this game, but first I want to fire a few shots. David Fizdale, not a great coach, but the New York Knicks are the worst run franchise in the history of professional sports. I don't think there's any question. Maybe the Washington Redskins over in the NFL would give them a run for their money, but even though David Fizdale has some blame for how this team has started, it's just a bad team. Dennis Smith Jr. coming back tonight could help that point guard position. I don't think it's going to help a ton. But the big thing here is I think the Bulls, you look at how good they've been in the first half and the first quarter of games and how bad they've been coming out of halftime. I don't disagree that the Knicks have a chance of covering this one. I don't think they can win outright, even with Smith coming back. But that being said, if you look at some of the numbers in this game, I think it's right. A really good first half play as well. They have top 5 defense in first half and a top 5 defense in first quarter. Whereas you look at the Knicks are the last ranked team in the NBA in first quarter and first half offense on the road in the United Center. The team's already been chasing the Bulls here in this one. I think they come out and have a really good start to this game. And the Bulls are actually a very underrated team defensively. I think Chandler Hutchinson filling in for Otto Porter is actually an upgrade at this point defensively. Porter is still a pretty good offensive player, but his defense is lacking a little bit here lately. I'm not scared of the New York Knicks at all in this one. They're a really bad offensive team. They can't seem to get out on the road to hot starts at all. They don't have much of they don't have any facilitators really. Even Dennis Smith is not a facilitator. He's a score first point guard. If you can't have anybody that can get you into your offense, you're going to struggle, and they have shown that time and again. On top of the fact that David Fizdale might not be a great coach, so all of those things considered, I think first under 109 is a very, very good play. The Bulls have not been a very good first half offense at all this year either. Their second half issues though are a problem here, so I can't trust them on 6.5 for the full game. But I'm definitely taking the under here in the Bulls in the first half. ATS.
Yeah, I like that under in the first half as well. Go ahead, Junior.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, this is a complete stay away from me. You guys already knew I was going to say that. I can't stand both of these teams. Both coaches are terrible. I think Fizdale could possibly be a decent coach in the right situation, but this is strike 2 for him in a very short span, right? He couldn't get along with Gasol in Memphis, so they kicked him out. Now he's in New York. 8 games into the season, they kind of want to get rid of him. He's on a short leash, but this is what his main problem is. At the moment, his number one playmaker kind of looks like it's Julius Randle. Listen, I don't hate, because people think I hate Julius Randle. If Julius Randle is your 7th or 8th man, you're going to be a really solid team that's going to compete for a playoff spot. If Julius Randle is one of your main pieces, your team is trash. And at the moment, Julius Randle is basically him and RJ Barrett are the 2 most important players that this team has. RJ Barrett has kind of, fallen off in terms of his shooting recently. I think he's like 9 for 32 in his last 3 games. And it's impossible to win with a guy like Julius Randle who he's better when he has to do less. Right now, he's just doing way too much for this team. They don't have any kind of identity. Dennis Smith Jr. coming back is a good thing, but here's the problem. Dennis Smith Jr. looks like he's in Fizdale's doghouse. Like before he left for the death in his family, he's averaging 9 minutes a game. Like, I don't care how bad Dennis Smith Jr. is playing. This roster is not talented enough for him to be playing scrub minutes. So he must he must have some kind of problem with Fizdale, or Fizdale has some kind of problem with him. They need to figure that out because Dennis Smith Jr. is definitely better than whatever they have going on at point guard right now. So many questions with this team. As for the Bulls, they're just so much more talented than the Knicks. But again, that's just on paper. What have they shown you? Like, look, in the last 8 games, the only wins they have are against 2 really bad teams. They don't beat good teams. So this is a complete stay away from me.
Luckily, the Knicks are a bad team.
I can definitely understand that. And the Knicks are a bad team. But like I say, man, you see them go and play the Mavs over there, beat them as 11-point underdogs. You see them go to Boston as 10, 11-point underdogs and only lose their game by 2. That's twice now they went on the road in a pretty tough environment and damn near won the game. So all of their losses I don't really put there because, like I say, I mean, the one versus Dallas here was a pretty big win in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Nobody expected that. I know people laying points with Dallas left and right in their game. Nobody respected them. Sometimes teams come up like I say, playing for their coach, backs up against the wall. You have to look at who these teams are playing. The Bulls are a team that they can beat. It doesn't help that it's a revenge game and they're on the road. They're in Chicago. The Bulls are still not a great team, and I'm pretty sure that's what the management, I'm pretty sure that's how Fizdale looking at it, like, damn, we got to, like, losing that game by 20 points to the Cavs at the house, that's the reason why he's, you know what I'm saying, looking at getting fired. These type of games versus the Bulls, I guarantee you management is looking like these are winnable games. We have to go in here and win these type of games or at least be competitive. I like the Knicks tonight plus the 6.5 with their backs against the wall. I want to get into this Jazz and Nets game, another interesting spot here. We got the Nets over here. No LeVert. You know what I'm saying? Third game on the road trip over here. Just gave up 138 points to the Suns, which the Suns aren't, you know what I'm saying, aren't bad or anything. But they give up damn near 140 points, man. The defense is not looking good right now whatsoever. The Jazz are 5-0 at the house. They are coming off a back-to-back game versus Golden State last night. You look at the Nets here. They got no LeVert. They're 5th worst in defense. 2-8 ATS last 7 in Utah. And you got the Jazz though that are 4th last in pace. They sit back-to-back. They number 2 in defense. You know what I'm saying? The under is 9-1 last 10 after scoring 100 points. The total's been steamed, man. Call me crazy, but this does fit my system. Back-to-back team, you know what I'm saying, a top 10 defensive team on the back-to-back. It doesn't help. The one loss that I have taken this year in this spot is when the other team was top 5 worst defense, but I'm still taking it tonight. The Nets just gave up 138 points to the Suns. No LeVert as well, you know what I'm saying, who was a nice little scorer. He was a starter for him. I'm banking that they were working on defense in practice here, and they're going to focus on some defense. We know that Jazz is going to slow down the pace. There was a back-to-back spot. This is in high altitude. I'm holding my breath, but I'm taking the under 220 here, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Nets be able to keep it in the number as well. I know the Jazz are starting to look very good, but something tells me here with the back-to-back spot, maybe they're the team, you know what I'm saying, where this home, where the altitude isn't good for them, where they're used to the altitude, went to something they're not used to and go to state, now back to the house on the back-to-back spot. The Nets are rested. They're coming off a terrible loss. Some tells me they could try to they could keep this one close, but I like the under even better because I know that the Jazz will slow this one down. If the Nets, you know what I'm saying, stay in this one, then it'll probably go over because we know they're going to push the pace, but they're going to focus on defense. Kenny Atkinson is still a damn good coach, and after giving up 138 points, they're going to come to play tonight defensively. I'm on the under 220 in this game. And any look on this game, Jordan?
I don't have any play on this game. The LeVert injury does scare me because I think the Nets get worse both offensively and defensively without him on the court. And the Jazz coming off the back-to-back I think is a little bit of a scary spot, even though they're back at home. And they tend to play a lot better defense at home. But if they're coming off the back-to-back and the Nets get out to a quick lead, push the pace, force the Jazz to move up in pace, I think that's a really scary spot for them. Just the steam, but the fact that the Nets, like you said, could grab the game here early after basically getting embarrassed by the Suns here in their last game. But that's the thing. I don't care how much this Nets team works on defense in practice, they're still not a good defensive team, and I don't think that's going to help them too much. But I will say this: I think that if the Jazz aren't as tired after not, they still had to play most of the fourth quarter last night. They didn't really pull away from that game until late, so I'm a little scared of the under. I wouldn't mind it. I think it's just really depends on the game flow and the game script of this one, and that's too big of a question mark, I think, for me to put any money on this game as of now. I think I'll probably watch and enjoy this game and maybe put a little more cash in that other late game.
Any looks on this game, Junior? I know the Nets. I know you real in tune with the Nets. What you got for us, Junior?
Yeah, I am. I watch pretty much every Brooklyn game, which is why I'm on the Jazz first quarter, -2, Jazz -3.5 first half. I don't like anything about the Nets right now, and I think that the Karis LeVert injury is a lot bigger than people realize. Like, the Nets have essentially, if you watch the Nets play basketball right now, it's Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Kyrie, and everybody else just kind of watching, trying to pick up scraps here and there. I think when you take out Karis LeVert, he's actually, out of those three, the one guy that puts in the defensive effort. He plays multiple positions. He does a lot for that team. Without them, against this Jazz team that's, putting the clamps down on people, I think they're going to have a hard time scoring. They never defend regardless of who they're playing. And I also think that I just lean towards the Jazz, their recent form. So the Jazz beat a shitty Golden State team last night, which you expected, but they beat a tough Bucks team. They beat a tough Sixers team. You look at Mike Conley, he's put a couple of good games in a row together. Bogdanovich is rolling. Everything seems, even Rudy Gobert has been playing a lot better. Like, everything seems to be working for the Jazz. The Nets, on the other hand, like, if you're the Nets, is the Jazz in Salt Lake City the spot where you're going to get right? I just don't see that at all. I think the Jazz come out early, put it on these guys. I hesitate to take the full game because of the back-to-back situation, but I think the Jazz know if they want to take care of this game, they just got to put the clamps down early. And I think that the Nets are going to have a hard time scoring points in this game.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see that. The one thing is, I'm reading the quotes or looking at videos, this type of stuff that I like to look at. I like to see where people's mentality is. Kyrie Irving, the main thing he said about the Suns game was that they just came out flat. The Suns came out and brought it to them, and then it's tough to play. It's tough to play catch up. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what he said. So the one thing that does scare me about it, I mean, the Jazz, you know what I'm saying, still, obviously they're much better form. Like you say, you made damn good points. The only thing that does scare me about Jazz early is that the Nets got their ass kicked in the last game, and I know they're going to come to play here in this spot. Still no LeVert, but if you look at it, they're going to have to insert Garrett Temple into the starting lineup. You're going to have him on Donovan Mitchell. Then you have Taurean Prince, you know what I'm saying, on Bogdanovich. So you still got a defensive lineup in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I know that their team defense hadn't been well, but I still think the individual defenders, Taurean Prince to me is not an offensive player. He's totally out there for defense. Garrett Temple is not really an offensive player. He's out there for defense. So I feel like their main thing is, and I always say, if you slow down Donovan Mitchell, if you can throw some players at him, this will be a totally different Jazz little team. I just like the Nets to try to slow them down in this spot. Like I say, even if you're the most horrible defense, after you give up 140 points, that next game you're gonna come to play on defense. And like I say, they said that they came out and got smacked by the Suns early. This could be the game where they say, hey, we can't let this. We got to come out early as well. I'm just staying away from the Jazz in this spot. It's Nets or nothing for me. And like I say, everybody liked the Nets in that last game versus the Suns. They came out and got smacked. If anything, this is the bounce back spot for them. They're getting even more points against the team that's on the back-to-back, and they're the more rested team in theory. So I just feel like this back-to-back is working a little bit against the Jazz in this particular spot. I'm hoping we know that their defense is always going to be there. I'm just thinking that it's going to affect the offense even more. I think the Nets going to play defense, and this one fits my system, man. If it's the second loss of the season on my system, it is what it is, man. But I got to ride with it. We 5-1 so far, and they cashed by 35, 36 points last night, man. So I'm on the under 220 in this spot, man. Derrick Rose just got ruled out as well for the Pistons. Let's get into this next game. One of the games you want to talk about, I think, Jordan, did you say you had a play on that Lakers and Suns game?
Yeah. You want me to break it down for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So this one is basically just going by the numbers here, but I think there's going to be some motivation here. This is one of the bigger games for the Suns, obviously, this season. And the Lakers Lakers have been one of the slowest starting on the entire league this year. I think they ranked 26th in first half offensive efficiency. They're dead last in first quarter offensive efficiency on the road. They're only averaging 88 points per 100 possessions in the first quarter of their 4 road games here so far this season. And this is a Phoenix Suns team that we have seen constantly overlooked. And I think we're still early enough in the season. I think the Lakers are still a little cocky enough here to overlook the Suns, especially early in the game. Now, the Lakers have been a team that have come out and played really well in the second half, so I'm staying off the full game line here in this one. Although I do think the Suns as underdogs have some appeal, but I think as a first quarter ATS play, definitely a first half ATS play, I think the Suns are definitely the option here because we've seen their defense start to falter a little bit. Not going to lie, but I think it's still good enough, and I think Monty Williams is going to have this team locked in enough. Really. Think at halftime. And this Anthony Davis injury talk has really, I think, scared. I think it's not going. I don't think it's being talked about enough, but I think it scares me for this Lakers team because if he's already getting hurt, we already know he's Mr. Glass, and he really can't stay healthy. He's been playing through some injuries already. If his shoulder's hurt and he's playing through that and he's not 100%, I don't think they have enough here to really come out hot on the road and actually take an early lead. I think they're going to be playing from behind here early and often. I think they're going to have to fight back in this game through all 4 quarters if they're going to want to win. But the Suns have been good enough offensively early in ball games, and the Lakers have been bad enough offensively early in ball games. Combine that with potentially a less than 100% Anthony Davis. I think the Suns first quarter and first half of the play here in this one.
Any play on this game, Junior? To me, in this game, is Lakers are nothing for me. Lakers coming off a loss, kind of bad loss at the house. Not too bad, but versus a team they thought they were going to beat. And the Suns coming off of a huge win. I'm telling you guys, the Suns aren't going under the radar too much longer than they have. Teams are realizing this recent success that they're having. The Anthony Davis injury is definitely one to note, though. Any look on this game, Junior?
I got no look on this game. I'm waiting to see what's going on with Anthony Davis. I actually agree with you. I don't like this spot for the Suns just based on the matchup, and this is why. Like, if you look at their team right now, Devin Booker, first of all, is playing out of his mind. Like, he's absolutely on fire right now. But the Lakers got some pesky defenders that could give him a hard time. You know, Danny Green is a great defender. Avery Bradley's a great defender. They got some guys that can make him work. I think if Anthony Davis plays, I don't like Dario Saric versus Anthony Davis at all for the Suns. I don't really like Aaron Baines versus Anthony Davis much better either. So, and another thing is this, other than Devin Booker, you got Kelly Oubre who's balling. He's looking like Kelly Oubre in high school was a 5-star recruit, went to Kansas. You know, he hasn't lived up to expectations during his time in the Wizards. He's flipped the script here in Phoenix, which is why they're looking a lot better. He's been going to the basket a lot more than he used to. 54% of his shots have come at the rim. Same thing with Michael Bridges, the Villanova kid who's looked pretty good. His shots, about 50% of his shots come around the rim. The Lakers have the best rim protection in the NBA right now. Between JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, and Anthony Davis, I just don't like the way that the Suns match up with the Lakers. And on top of all of that, LeBron had a triple-double against the Raptors, but that was the worst game he's played this season. He did not look good. If you watch that game, LeBron did not play well in that game at all. I expect LeBron to bounce back. Who's stopping LeBron on Phoenix? Too many things lean towards the Lakers in this spot.
Yeah, you're right. And you look at the matchups, you made a damn good point. That's what I was going to say. You know me, man. You have a defensive stopper that can stop the best player on the other team. You have a chance. They have 2 over there. Avery Bradley's going to be in Booker's face all night. And then when he's off of him, you get Danny Green. You know what I'm saying? So they got some defenders to throw over there. And like I say, the Suns are not going. They're moving up in the power rankings, man. I'm telling you guys, this recent success, they're not going on the radar on the team. You see how they just did the Nets over there. You know what I'm saying? With the Nets, don't play any defense. Big difference in this game, the Lakers do. Rondo's coming back tonight. I don't think that'll really mess up. He's going to, you know what I'm saying, probably be the ball catalyst in the second unit. So not really first unit throwing things out. I'm telling you guys, man, it's a bounce back spot for the Lakers here. Just, you know what I'm saying? I hadn't hopped on it yet, but I know they got Golden State tomorrow. So it's the first one of a back to back, but it's not like looking at Golden State like it used to be. Oh, we got Golden State. It's like, oh, no, we came off a loss. We got to come in here and smash this Sun team. Or, they probably like, you know what? The Suns look good, don't they? Everybody think they back. Let's come over here and smack these boys, make sure they know who boss. So we'll see if the Suns come to play tonight, but Devin Booker's going to have to go off tonight. It's not going to be one of the games where everybody else where, you know what I'm saying? I think the Lakers are going to come to play tonight, and I might have to hop on them full game here, minus a 2.5. I need to see if they, you know what I'm saying, do some little bullshit. They talked about possibly, you know what I'm saying, resting James here in the near future, just load management shit. So we'll see, man. I hadn't heard anything like that, but I'm just telling you guys, just you saw what happened yesterday with Ingram being ruled out. I saw absolutely nothing on that shit all day, and then here at the last minute, he ruled out. So we're getting to that time now. You guys might want to start making your bets a little later in the day, man. Just, you know what I'm saying, just saying. And let's go get to this last game. Oh, and Blake Griffin and D Rose are listed out for the Pistons tonight versus the Heat. So just had to say that real quick. And any looks on this Portland and Sacramento game, Junior?
Hell no. You already know my feeling. Portland's front line garbage. I will not be betting on these guys for a while. Until I see life out of CJ McCollum, Portland's a complete stay away team for me. Dame Lillard scored 60 and they still lost the other day. If it has to be Dame and CJ. If it's just Dame, they're not a good team. Dame and CJ make them a team that could put up points against anybody. And that duo has shown, because they talked about breaking them up in the past. That duo has shown that they're solid. But CJ McCollum has not played well the whole season. And it's Dame, CJ, and then the drop off from those two for me is massive. Like, there's such a top heavy team that if one of the two main guys is not rolling, I can't get in business with this team. It's actually, for me, Kings or nothing in this spot. But I think that if I'm not mistaken, De'Aaron Fox is hurt, so this is complete stay away from me.
Fox is going to be out 3 or 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying? The Kings, they are second to last in pace the past 5 games, which is crazy, even with Fox in. And this is a revenge spot. When I'm staying away from it, a lot of people are going to be quick to hop on the Blazers here. I don't think it's that simple. The Blazers are ass right now. Their defense is ass. They got lucky the other night versus Atlanta. I'm not so quick to hop on the Blazers here. It's under or nothing for me in this spot. I think Fox is going to – he was the main offensive catalyst for their team, the main one that was getting them out on a run and gun. Their best offensive player by far, according to Pi, his player usage on the team, highest by far, you know what I'm saying, by like 5 points next to Buddy Hield. So I think this is an under spot. Corey Joseph coming in as point guard for Fox he's going to slow the pace down. I like the under in this spot.
Real quick, I know we're short on time, but yeah, I was really super excited to take the Kings in this game until De'Aaron Fox injury news. But their offense gets like 10 points worse per 100 possessions without him on the court. It's just a stay away spot for me. Like you said, the Portland Trailblazers are just awful right now. No way I'm laying any sort of money, any sort of points with them on the road, even if it's just 2. But I will say this: I think you're right. The under is could be the play, but it's been steamed down so much from 227 now to 222 that I'm hesitant to take it. Although the Kings defense does get a lot better with Fox off the court, with Corey Joseph more of a defensive-minded guy, and then Yogi Ferrell coming in, backing him up now. Probably stay away to the under here in the first quarter here if the numbers are right in this one, just because like the Fox injury I think really throws this Kings offense off. They've been very good offensively. I think without him, I think they're going to be middle of the road, maybe even bad on offense here for the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Exactly, man. Y'all got it, man. Y'all heard the official plays from us, man. Most of the games we stayed, you know what I'm saying? We told you guys the games we stayed off of. Still gave us our opinions on them. I know my official plays, I did hop on that under, you know what I'm saying, in the Nets and Jazz spot. It's the same system as yesterday. We cashed it by 35 points. Top 10 defensive team. In this case, the number 2 defensive team in the league is on the back-to-back. I'm taking the under in this spot every time this year. 5-1 so far. Let's cash it again, man. The Jazz and the Nets under the 220. That's my play of the day, man. I hope we cash it again. We appreciate you guys coming in, for tuning in with Jay Money, me, myself, Junior, and Jordan, and we'll be back tomorrow, man. We appreciate all you guys. Like I say, come in, hop in with us tomorrow and hit that like button. We out. Gone.